Ready? Oh, wow.
Well, welcome. It's time. We're doing it again. All right. So many of you today, I have a special co-host today. Brenda is she's a little under the weather today. So I have the blessing and privilege of having Miriam Stallsworth with us. I was just sharing with the ladies that before we started, hit the record button, that Miriam and her husband, Charles, are really, they've been in in the way, about a little over 40 years. And we'll have you just a minute. I'll have you talk about you and your journey. But one of the really great things is that many of the women and men that we all are arm wrestling now for the bedroom here, right?
Yes.
We told, I'm going to leave a note for Rico and say, hey, these are my sheets.
18th.
Randy and I get the Giza sheets, so you get different sheets. So we fight. We're like kids. We have all been adopted by them, and we love them, and they would adopt you too. So come on over. Tomorrow, for anyone in the Oklahoma City area or within a few hours drive, if you're up for that, we are having a really amazing day tomorrow, aren't we?
Oh, amazing day. Yeah. Celebrating Hanukkah celebration, and going to just have rededicating our temples, right, ladies? And wow, we're going to have food, we're going to have music, and we're going to ordain this beautiful lady with anointing oil specially made for her by one of our members. And we are isn't that wonderful?
I'm nervous.
You're nervous?
I am nervous. So, but it's exciting. So if you want to come out, it's at Bet Me in Oklahoma City. Start at 3:00. Come a little early. We're not sure how many seats are going to be left. So Pietra, get on a plane. Come on over.
Yes, right. Yes.
I am going to pin us so y'all get a good view of we'll do this. Okay, there we go.
Whoa.
I get distracted if I have it on group view because I look at all the people.
Yes, me too.
So we have that happening tomorrow. Again, 3:00 tomorrow at Bet Me. Please come out, come join us. Bring a little snack to share. Bring your Hanukkah. We're going to be lighting the candles.
Bring your oil of gladness.
Yes, amen. Yeah, we're just it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful Hanukkah celebration and rededication ceremony. So please, you are welcome. You are welcome. And so the other thing is, a lot of you have been asking, and you see I post it all the time, but you're wanting to know where they find more of us, more of the teachings we're doing. And we have everything from beginner, we're all beginner friendly, all the way up to super advanced. We are all welcome over in the Rooted Cafe. We do have a 7-day trial. You just have to go to www. I don't even have to do that anymore. Yeah. The Rooted Cafe, K-A-F-E, cafe, cafe, and go on there and you can click in the store. It says 7-day free trial. Go in there or on the front page.
Wow, 7 days free trial.
Yeah, check it out. So come in there. And I always feel funny, like this is an infomercial, but if I don't tell you, how else are you going to know? I struggle with that. Like, how do you do that? I don't know. So it's not Shabbat, so we can say it.
That's right.
So anyways, today we're going into Mikeitz.
Mikeitz. Wow.
This is my favorite portion.
Yes, we say that every week. We say that this is our favorite portion.
No, really. Well, it's almost my very favorite. Y'all know is in Leviticus. It's my very favorite portion, but this one is really good.
Really, really good. And there's about, oh my gosh, 3 parishes almost on Yosef.
I know.
Oh, wow. And we just love, we have a tendency, because we know there's no J's in the Hebrew, so we have a tendency to say Yosef, and but his life. And wow, this is meeting the dysfunctional family coming together.
I'm just going to say, this is such a beautiful, beautiful story of redemption.
Redemption. Yes.
I think that when we start, like she said, that there's more parshas about one person than anywhere else.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like the conversation at the well. The longest conversation with Yeshua is with a woman at a well who is completely dysfunctional.
Right.
Well, guess what?
Yes.
This long story about dysfunction. So for those of you who think he can't ever use me, my life is a mess, I feel like I live in the pit. Because some of us have been from the pit, the palace, back to the pit, back to the palace. Some of us have gone through that journey a few times. And if you're at the conference, you're going to know I'm going to say, do it again. Get up, do it again. A righteous woman falls 7 times, but she gets up.
Right.
And we're going to see Yosef have a few falls here.
Few falls. We're going to see that. Through it all, he doesn't really, or we don't see it in the word, really gripe and complain. It's amazing.
Yeah, you know what, I had that as my question mark. Is that just because they didn't put it in there, or was he really that guy?
I know, it's amazing because he was human.
Right?
Yeah, but I mean, there was no retaliation. He didn't scream. I mean, he just didn't go around to anybody or talk about his brothers. I mean, it is amazing. What an example.
I feel like if he was that guy, they would have told us. They've told us about everyone else's character. If that was important for us to know, I feel like it would have been included.
Right, because like Jacob, okay, wrestling with God, he changed his name to Jacob, to Israel. And yeah, we don't hear that.
We don't hear any of the other, some of the struggles for him.
No.
We just hear that we hear that about him maybe sharing a dream a little early, but who hasn't tried to jump into their gift a little early before it was time, you know? They tried to jump in and try their big girl pants on, and it wasn't quite time to put that out there. You didn't have the tempering yet. You didn't have the maturity yet for your gift, but it was okay because of the grace of our Father. I mean, Adonai gives us so much grace that we can jump out sometimes without a parachute, right, ladies? And then we sometimes could do a little harm, but that's what I think the story is about, is for those of us who got so excited about something, maybe it's this faith, maybe you jumped into this way and you're like, I'm so excited. And you want to tell everybody what they should and shouldn't do, not because you're trying to be mean, but you're just wanting to save the world. And you're so excited, righteous indignation, whatever the,
and you become the Shabbat police, right?
Yes.
And you're so excited. You want this for everybody. And I think what you really want is to give them blessings.
Yeah. Right.
And say, look at, you can have all this. You can, it's not like I have to. No, we get to. So I want to say hello. Thank you to all the ladies. We have ladies all over the world. We have women on every single continent watching us. Hello. I wish I could speak all your languages so that we could honor you. But I just want to say hello. I do see Pietra. She stays up and watches us late at night in South Africa. I see her little picture. So that's the reason I'm picking her. I know Karen, you're in South Africa. We have a lot of women in South Africa. I mean, I can pick all the continents. We have women in almost every single country. So hello to you, all you ladies that are listening on the replay, whether audio by podcast, whether you are just watching the video later. Hello, we love you. Please know that we want to feel like we're with you, even though you're not right here live with us. We want you to feel that way. So I hope that you do, and remind us if we say something that, because you can't see us, that we're not explaining it, please jump in and send us an email and let us know. You can go on our website, therootedcafe.com. And if you go into the store, I believe it says, or you go up to the top, it says the portion, I think, I'm sorry, but you can listen to this portion being read. Under the portion, you can listen to all of our ladies. We have fun recording those. Yes.
So all of our ladies, different ones of you have graced us. We had the last couple were from ladies from South Africa. What a blessing that was, listening to your accents.
Yes.
I mean, we have the accent, right? Sorry.
Yes.
But that was fun. We have ladies who are beautifully blessing all of you with, it's kind of fun to, even laying at night, and you can can't sleep if you're menopausal like me, and you can listen to someone else speaking the word over you, and it's washing over you and helping you release. Yeah, that's really good. But there's also, we have a portion membership, and for everybody who's in here, and that's one of the reasons you give us your email, is we grant you access. So you can actually go to therootedcafe.com, go up to the top and hit sign on. This is our free membership, the portion. You click on that, and then you sign in with the email that you gave us to be in here. And if you didn't get an email, or you can't find the email, it's probably in spam, you can actually say, forgot my email, and reset it. And guess what? It'll pop up on your computer or your phone, and it'll show all the portions. We have a how to study the Bible. We have a blueletterbible.com. We teach a short course in hermeneutics, teaching you basic how to study the Bible. If you think you know how to use the Blue Letter Bible, you probably learned it from a Greek perspective. We teach it from a Hebraic perspective. Brenda and I do a quick class on that. Also, you can download that. Once you get that all set up on your mobile apps, you can download Kajabi, Kajabi app, and then sign in with that same email, the same password, and then it's on your phone. It's on your mobile device, so you can take us wherever you go. And then, like we told you, we do have a paid membership, but I want you to have access to these. For those of you listening to the replay, there's so many ways to listen to the replay. You don't feel behind. Don't be overwhelmed. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, ladies. And those ladies who are live with us on Facebook, we just love you. I can't see you today, but I just want you to know we love you so much. And we know that you're there. Please let us know with just a hello, I'm here. Tell us where you're listening from. And I know that's a lot of words, but I just really, really want to hit everyone where they're listening from so that you know you're loved. I'm going to do a quick overview. We are like twinners today.
Yes.
We both showed up to the table with our books.
Yes, didn't know.
So this is one of the resources both of us use, obviously. Tour Club from First Fruits of Zion. This is kind of one of my first, this is how I started. Would you share that about how you started, where you came from?
Yes.
Hold on, Randy, could you heat hers up? It's like cool. Sorry, I have the best husband. And you hear me, I'll say he's my smoke show husband. He's hottie and he's going to make her coffee or tea hottie.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about you, Miss Miriam.
Okay. Well, I was born in Chicago. Many of you know this. Okay. Can you hear my accent? A little bit, maybe. And I was raised in primarily a Jewish home. My grandparents, especially on my father's side, came from Russia, and they were very, very observant. And then they came to America, and my father was one of 3 brothers, and kind of just assimilated. So, and my parents, we did everything culturally Jewish. And then I moved to Skokie, Illinois when I was in 5th grade, which was 2nd largest city for Holocaust survivors. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine it was an amazing place. But I saw there so much assimilation. I didn't realize it then. And to me, I think I was telling Charlie last night that I thought everything that was so doing the Sabbath and some of the dietary was so much. These are just like fanatics. And I didn't understand. But in my later 20s, I moved to Oklahoma. Well, you can imagine it's like moving to China from Chicago.
Yeah.
I really thought there was cowboys, Indians, and was I going to go on the ranch, And of course, my accent, I came here, well, oh my gosh, these people don't know how to talk. But anyway, I knew there was a God. We did the holidays. I went to synagogue with my aunt and uncle somewhat. I even tried to do some of Shabbat. And I saw this rabbi and this family kind of lighting the candles and around the table. And I went, wow, I want this, but I didn't know how to do it. And then, so that was just like a little awakening in my spirit. And to me, sin was just like biggies. If you murdered or, if I stole in the 7-Eleven or a bank, it wasn't like in my heart here. I didn't understand. And so when I came to Oklahoma, I went through some difficult times. And wow, I met my husband, Charles, and he was the best friend to the man who lived next door to me, who was a pastor from New York. And so I had 2 little children at the time and just really struggling. I had my mom with me and had to kind of just start all over. Why did God bring me here? I could have gone back to Chicago. But then people would take me to lunch. And I thought, wow, they're really trying to just be my friend. And then right away, they would, start in, and we'd just get into like our tea or something. Okay, Miriam, do you want to accept Jesus as your savior? And I'm going, what? I don't even know who he is. And Jesus was his first name. Christ was his last. I thought everybody, which a lot of Jewish people do, everybody's Catholic. And we have no understanding. And when I was young, my father said, you just mouth the words like in Christmas programs or whatever. So I had decided, you know what? When I am starting to learn this, I'm going to read this Bible. And years ago, I had asked for the Holy Scriptures for my mother, and she got me one. And everything was great until I got to like, oh, I love the beginning stories. But then when it was Kings and all this, and some of Leviticus at the time, it was hard. I couldn't comprehend it. And so that was like on hold for a while. But then I took a year and I asked God if Yeshua was the Messiah. I knew I was looking for a Jewish Messiah, that I knew. And all of a sudden, one day, I was reading on my own, never opened the New Testament. And when people say, you've got to have this all in the New Testament.
You have to start in the book of John.
Right. No. And when I went finally into a church for the first time, that's what they do. They gave me the New Testament. And wow, How are you going to understand? And you know this, ladies, as you're starting on your journey, you understand this now. It's one book. But I only opened the Torah and I cried out for a year. If you're the Messiah, please show me. And he showed me he was the Messiah and the Passover lamb. I am the Passover lamb. And so that is my journey. We went in, my husband and I, to a Baptist church, and we started doing Bible studies. But then when it got to Hanukkah, I said, wow, I can't wait. We're going to do Hanukkah. This is great. And they said, oh, no, we're doing Christmas because, you're a Christian now. You don't need to do any of that stuff. And I said, wait, but our Messiah, he celebrated Hanukkah. He did these things. He was Jewish. And so that's when it kind of started that I was a little uncomfortable. Well, maybe not saying a little uncomfortable, let's say a lot uncomfortable, And then when they would have Christmas songs and everybody's singing, and then they played this song one time in the church, it was Rock of Ages. Oh, woohoo, this is a Hanukkah song. I know this. No, it was a different Rock of Ages. And so it was like, I felt like a complete outcast. And so anyway, we started on this journey. My husband and I, we have now been married 41 years. And so been blessed. In the beginning, can I tell you, it was not easy. I used to say, Charles, can you just teach 1 Corinthians 13 every week? Just a nice little sermon about love, because it was like shooting arrows every week. And somebody coming up to him, don't you know about Galatians? Don't you know? Oh, no, we've never studied that.
No, we just got here.
Yeah, we never studied this, And you're just really being legalistic, or are you still doing that Jew stuff? And people don't realize the anti-Semitism and also the lack of knowledge and also the hurt when you say that, when people are coming in, and maybe some of you ladies have experienced this, that it's not the Jewish feasts. These are of the Lord. The Sabbath is not a Jewish Sabbath. It was there way before at the beginning, wasn't it?
Right.
And so what I bring to the table, what I bring to this portion is that I have all the cultural. I know all the little sayings. I know all the
little Yiddish.
The little Yiddish, yeah, but little jokes like I told one time.
And if you need help with your challah bread?
Yeah, I can do that. And I never made challah till I moved to Oklahoma. And so what a treat that the table now has become the altar, and I can share this with women, because ladies, you are the center of the home. You are the one that is going to make this happen. And so I am thrilled to be here. Never did I know that I was going to be on this journey. When I was a little girl, and I told this, we had a recent women's conference, I used to put on my mother's long slip, and I had this hairbrush, and I would just singing and talking, and I would do all these stars. And I thought, wow, I just really love this. I put on my mother's heels, which some of you probably did too.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, one of my daughters said, oh my gosh, Mom, you're going to be up on stage one day talking. And I just thought, this isn't going to happen. When is this going to happen? And then I was sharing my part of my story at the women's conference, and it just kind of all brought back. So if I can be a blessing to any of you, that is my goal.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. One of the reasons I know in my heart to share when we started the Rooted Cafe, we started the portion was teaching the word. And then when we started the Rooted Cafe, Miriam, and you know this, my heart was that I wanted women. So we have women who are coming from, maybe they're from a Jewish faith and they're realizing that they're getting Semitism or anti-Semitism from Christians. But the same thing kind of happens. And that's why you'll hear us when, this is really a safe community, is because there's sometimes there's the same kind of hate that happens once you feel like you've arrived and all the Jewish things, and now I'm doing all these things, that you forget your journey and you forget it was like when you first started. So having a place here that we can help each other no matter where you're at on the journey, right? So if you just are starting and you're like, what does that even mean? It's okay to ask. I don't know what this means, because we all need to remember. I remember taking my daughter to Disneyland when she was like 3. And I grew up in Southern California. So I knew I went to Disneyland all the time. But when I took my daughter, it was so fun because I saw it through new eyes. I feel that way with you. If you're brand new, I love hearing the new things you learn because it reminds me, I never want to forget that. I never want to forget my first love. I don't want to arrive. So that's why we encourage you to share everything. And that's with this Parsha, you know, it's Mikeitz means at the end.
At the end.
At the end. And we're talking about, we're going to go through so much things. And I wrote a note to myself, the biggest thing one of the big things I took away from this was just the beautiful redemption of all of it. I'm going to just do a real quick thing here. Oh, she did it. Your gifts, they make room for you. And I feel like this has been a message she's put in my heart a lot lately. Wow. So I'm sorry if you were hearing it over. I think it's worth repeating when you hear me saying to do it again, but this is your gift will make room for itself in the most unlikely places. It seems like maybe you thought I was a minister before, or I taught before, or I was a worship leader before, or I did all these things before, but now I don't know what to do. Now I feel like I'm in the pit, or I'm in this crazy home and nobody even, you feel like you're alienated in your home. This is such a beautiful story. I feel like for us to know you are not alone. You are not alone. And that God uses this crazy world circumstances to bring redemption.
Yes.
And that's the theme. And over all of this, we see this is a crazy world that's happening.
It's a very crazy
This Egypt
world
that's going on right now is there's a famine happening in the land. And we'll see that happening in this. Things seem a little crazy and like, where's the promise? I thought we were being in this big promised land. Now we have to leave and there's no food. And he uses the world's craziness. And I don't know how many of you, I want to hear a bunch of yeses on Facebook. I want to go back and see is yes, it's crazy. Who thinks that right now we're living in some crazy times? Some things feel a little unsteady. There might be a little famine of toilet paper happening now and then. There might be a little famine happening in different things. You go to the store and you look and you're like, is this a famine? Like what's happening here?
Right.
Things might be crazy. Get excited, ladies, because this is when he shows up and start thanking him instead of griping. I want you to be like Joseph and remember that he uses this crazy world and the circumstances to ignite your gifts again, to start blowing. And you guys, we want to encourage you in your gifts. He will start redeeming those. He starts redeeming families. Many of you, your families have been redeemed because of quarantines. I just speak that over to all of you that you would feel that redemption. And having that emunah, right? Having the emunah, that faith, that faith, not just like, oh, I believe in Jesus, not that kind of faith, but that deep, I have faith in the sovereignty of the Almighty King, in the creator of the universe, that he's going to work this for my good.
And through this, and in our congregation, and probably many of you are going through this, many people, they're changing professions because they're losing their jobs. And they have a direct, deep inside that I can't do certain things that they're asking me to do. And as a result, they could have been in a job for 20 years. And then all of a sudden, wow, they're losing it. And I cannot believe what God is doing, because rather just saying, wow, how are we going to make it? I'm hearing from a lot of you, wow, God's going to provide. Yeah. He's going to take care of me. And there is a famine. We know now how expensive things are, and I know we are very blessed in the states we are living in, but I know in some of your other states and across the world, things are really rough, but it's bringing us together for some eternal purpose. And wow, I can't say enough about that do not lose hope. And I guess that's one of the greatest things, is gratefulness.
Yes, I think that's
not complaining.
Yeah.
And this is what saves you in all things, to be grateful.
Yeah.
And especially at this Hanukkah time, wow. It's not, we know during the season, it's not about the presents.
Nothing.
It's about his presence.
It's about his presence. That's beautiful. You know, when you were reading through this, and we're talking about living that, being grateful, and then being that Romans 8:28 life. One of the things he did mention this in the Torah Club.
Yes,
he says that Joseph always believed that he was right where God had placed him. And you'll hear a lot of us, you might hear us talking about, I'm on assignment.
Yes,
I took this assignment, so I'm right where I'm supposed to be. This is what I agreed to. My soul agreed to come down here and take this assignment. And so I'm going to live this assignment. I'm going to do it well. And I'm going to walk this out well. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I didn't have Joseph's assignment.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
We are thankful today of something. I could have had another assignment that would have been not so fun.
Right.
Yeah.
But we see all these things. We see what happened when he gets by Potiphar's wife, and he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. And then he's put in the dungeon. Well, we've had other people like Paul and what, they were in prison. They didn't complain. What were they doing? They were singing praises. How do we get to that state?
Right.
We have to believe this purpose. There's a purpose for it all.
Won't we just attract so many when they're like, what is different about you? What do you mean you're excited on me? Isn't this exciting? Look at the miracle. Now we've set the stage for some beautiful miracles, because before we had everything we needed. So we didn't need a miracle because we had now we get to set the stage for some really fun things to enjoy. This is another thing you're going to notice through this is we're going to see that this is the redemption also for Judah. We see Judah in this story, and we see Joseph. We watch that. If you go back and see, we can go step by step. They're both given the opportunity to do it right. Joseph's given the opportunity to do it the right way. We see the first time he had a dream, we've talked about before, how he presented that gift, how he talked to his brothers. He came across a little immature in his gift, right? How his gift was received. We see Judah. We see how he treats his brother. We see him not operating in who he's called to be. We know who his DNA is saying you need to be. We know who comes from the tribe of Judah.
Right.
We know who the Lion of the tribe of Judah is. So we know that there's a redemption story coming. So we have a sneak peek to see how this happens. And guess what? For me, I don't know about you, but for me, it lit my fire to know that here's someone who did it wrong, who tried to kill someone and would have, if he could have, paid for a prostitute. We never talked about that last time. He picked up, his intention was to go out with the boys and then pick up a prostitute, right? He went with the sheep shearers. We just say, oh, he picked up a prostitute. No, we have to remember he was that guy too.
Right.
And then left his stuff. He was so out of his mind that he ended up leaving his important things behind. Again, a coat. Remember, we talked the coat and the goat. It's all about the coat and the goat. He left it all behind, but it's redeemed right now. We see the opportunity for Judah to redeem this in story. He comes back around. We see with Tamar, when we saw that he was presented with the opportunity, he could say, I don't know whose that is. Right. I mean, kind of hard to deny his signet ring.
Yes.
But he did.
And the staff.
But he could have just burned her really quick, and he could have said, like, hurry, quick, burn, take care of her.
Yes. But what did he say? She is more righteous than me.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that was all about the Levirate vow. And they did not, the other brothers did not want to do that. And so we don't have to go into exactly, what they did. But anyway, she wanted a child.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we think of certain things, or we have a certain impression of somebody. And I remember it's just even little things, how we can be so self-righteous. We had a friend that was a lady rabbi with us, and she was telling us a story that she was in the grocery store and she was buying some sort of pork product. This was the rabbi, or a lady was, I can't remember. And somebody was all gossiping around that she was buying this. Why was she doing this? Doesn't she know better? And she was doing this for a friend at the time who was non-Jewish, which we know now that's for everybody, but this person was sick and this is what she asked for. So see, we come to conclusions, and she felt she was helping this person at the right time, and everybody was saying, oh, look what she's eating. So we have to be very, very careful when we make these judgments. We don't know, and we are so quick to judge, and we judge others, but we judge ourselves by our good intentions. Well, I intended to go visit them, or I intended to pray for them. But that intentions, the good intentions doesn't cut it, does it? No.
And I think that's what we have to remember, that what might be permissible to someone isn't permissible, because we don't know where they're at in their journey.
Right.
I want to just challenge you guys to take back and go through and look at the story we see this story that's happening. And I think we're going to see Judah and Jacob. I want the parallel between these two in a story. We see Jacob in the story with Laban, when Laban comes running, coming out to meet him and said, someone stole my idols. You're going to see some things typical that he's going to talk about divination. These are the things he used for divination, and he knows someone has it. And we're going to hear Judah say, whoever has it, what does he say?
Oh,
put him to death.
Put him to death.
Whoever has it. And that's why he believes that it was his fault that his wife died, is because he cursed her to death. But what are we going to hear? What are we going to hear Judah say? Because he's going to, I don't know, is this ringing something happening? This is a family thing that he's remembering. All of a sudden, the same verbiage is used from Joseph to go chase after him. He says the same verbiage. He says, hurry on ahead. If you hurry, you'll catch up to them. Same thing is said about Laban. If we hurry, we'll catch up to them. He catches up, and the servant says, there's someone has stolen this goblet. And what does Judah say? Whoever has it,
right, put him to death.
Put him to death. But you're going to see similarities. You're going to see that, like I said, there's divination. You're going to hear Joseph say, I used divination to be able to know that someone had, you're going to hear a lot of the same terminologies, but we're going to see redemption. I mean, over and over, there's so many layers and layers and layers of redemption for every person. And we're watching Judah be able to have to stand up and do the right things. You know what I see too, is I'm trying to look at my notes. I'm scrolling back and forth in notes. And I wrote a note to about this for Joseph. Last week, we talked about, Brenda brought up the topic of Hineni, that he says, here I am, here I am. Sometimes some of us have said Hineni. We've said, here I am, whether we were young, whether we were at any point in our lives. And again, it didn't go right. And that's what happens to Joseph. He says, okay, Hineni, and it doesn't go right. But we see this really, we were talking about this last night, a really beautiful thing that happened. We have Joseph. I'm liberally taking this from the Bema discipleship, where we were learning on the way here as we drove, in Aleph Beta, we were learning from there, is that we have this interesting thing happening we have Joseph. Let's look at what happens in this redemption. We have Joseph, who starts out in the home. He's like second in command. He's favored. He has he has two coats. Most of the boys only have one if you're the second in command.
And let's say his father didn't do everything exactly right, because he caused a lot of the jealousy.
Yeah, he did. He did. And then what he does is he sends him out. And we didn't even really talk about this, but you go back and look at that whole section. He sends him out to where? The same place where his daughter was violated.
Yes.
That's where the boys are at. I mean, they're still hanging out in crazy places. He still goes, he sends his son out there. So he sends him out. His coat gets ripped away from him. He gets thrown in a pit. Then what happens? We can go backwards on the other side, or we're going to take it there. And then from the pit, what happens? He gets a new coat, but this time he leaves his coat. He doesn't proudly wear it out somewhere. He gives it up because it's the right thing to, at this time, it was either stay and fight for this coat and his position. And you don't hear that he stood up and said, I didn't do this. Look, she did that. He honored his boss.
Yes.
And he just took it, and he went trusting, he trusts the story. He just slipped out of his coat and left it on his own, not because someone grabbed it from him. Well, she grabbed it, but he left his coat, and he didn't fight for it.
Yeah, you got to believe he was a little stronger than her, that he could have fought for it.
He could have pulled his coat. Said, give me my coat.
Yeah.
And so what happens? He gets thrown back in a pit.
Yeah.
Oh, and we forgot the part from his father. What happens when he tells his brothers and his father about this dream?
Oh, they did not like it. No.
What does his father say?
Yeah. Wow.
What do you think? We're going to bow down to you too? Now you think it's going to be worse? We're going to all just bow down to you, and even your mom and I are going to go do this. Is this really what you think is going to happen?
Right.
So when he gets thrown into a pit, he leaves his coat. Now he gets thrown into another pit. And by the way, the word that's used in Hebrew is the same word they don't use the word prison. There is a word for prison in Hebrew. It's not the same. I'll come back in and I'll type that in to give you guys the background on that, or if someone else, I have some really great, yes. If I have some ladies in here who probably know this off the top of their head, they can pop it in. But the word for prison used in this story is actually pit. And there's a reason, because this is the storyteller here is trying to show you there's this parallel happening, because how he went in and the way he comes back out, it's fully redemption. It's such a beautiful story of Messiah. you have him now thrown into the pit again in jail. And what is, and he's not, he wasn't received by his family.
No.
He wasn't received by his own. He was ridiculed for his gifts.
Yes. He was stripped of his clothes.
Yes.
Yeah, of his clothes. Yes.
He was wounded.
Right?
He was bruised.
Yes.
The chastisement was upon him.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And because of his confinement to the pit and because of his punishment, his family was healed and restored from a famine. They were saved. So he's in the pit. Someone has a dream. Now, is he ridiculed again this time?
No. And also, he didn't go, gosh, what was it? The cupbearer, the one that lived, right? Wasn't, and he said, remember me, right? And he didn't.
Yeah.
He totally forgot him. But was that a coincidence? No, because right at the right time, then what? The Pharaoh said, what? I had this dream and nobody can interpret it. And then he remembered, goes, oh yeah, I knew this fellow that could interpret these dreams.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Joseph saying all the time, oh my gosh, how long is it going to take you already? You know?
Right. I mean, your gift will make room for itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is without repentance. It will make room for itself. You aren't just like have this ability to do something and then no one notices. We have to trust.
We have to
the
trust
sovereignty and the timing of the
and
Father.
we have to trust that each testing is for a purpose to make us grow stronger.
Because it would hurt us. I know for me, I am so grateful, Miriam, I am so grateful that I wasn't allowed to continue on in a gift that I had to, my gift had to go into a pit for a while to be able to be cured.
Oh, with your voice. Yeah.
Anything, teaching voice. I could have done a lot of damage. I needed the tempering the pit gave me. I needed it. I needed the patience. I needed the fruits of the Spirit. I mean, think about a wine. It's put down in to be a really powerful, expensive bottle of wine. It's put down in a dark pit.
Right, for a while.
Yeah.
And in the darkest times, we grow the most.
Yeah.
And we usually fight it. But I also heard that on your sick bed, and if you're sick, it is the closest you're with God because it's all quiet. And it's just you and God, and you're crying out to him. Right.
And isn't it crazy if you start thinking, we start actually that life of emunah where you're that attitude of gratitude. That's not new. I mean, we in our house are joking now. My husband does something, we had something happen and things spill and you get all upset and he goes, thank you, Father. I'm not sure what you're trying to teach me out of this, but I just thank you for it. I'm struggling, but I thank you because there's something in this. And that's kind of, I think, what we need to learn from Joseph is that we're watching him, his gift make room for himself. We're watching him grow, mature.
I think the fruits of Spirit also, oh, wow, patience. That's also, rather than just really look at the patience. It doesn't say exactly how many years this was all happening, but we know he wasn't in that prison for a day.
No. And I want to just debunk I have a pet peeve when I hear people say, oh, don't pray for patience. You know what's going to happen. Okay. Come here. Everybody move in. You were born with the gift of patience inside of you. Yes. You're just praying for it to be manifest. And that doesn't mean that everything, you already have it. So that would be like your child, you giving your child a gift and you'd be like, oh, I didn't want to pray for that because when I open that and I have car keys, now you're going to make me go to the grocery store and then I'm going to have to drive my sister to school and I don't want to drive. Please don't give me the car. Just don't give me the car. Not one of you said that. Not one of you. You grabbed that. You were willing to do anything because you just wanted to drive. You just had to drive. Patience is such a beautiful gift, and it's go in and do a word study on that. You already have patience. You don't need to get patience. You just need to mature the gift.
It's really good.
It's a gift that's in your DNA. He went to the cross to give you that gift. The same thing for Shalom. I mean, he took on so much for us to be able to blossom in that. We should be proud of that. So now you'll know never to say that around me, but it was truly his timing. We'll go back. It's truly his timing. So he's got patience. He's in there. So what happens to the Pharaoh? This is a new form or visual I want you to see of a new father coming into his life. Because I thought, why didn't Joseph, when he becomes second in command, why did he write home? Why did he send messengers? You know, he couldn't like send a text message or emails, but why didn't he? Because I was thinking about like, here he's probably thinking, well, remember Ishmael? Yep, they sent that poor guy off. Yeah. He was sent off. My dad sent me off. That maybe what, you know, this is how our family handles things. Right. I have things in my family. We handle things historically. I could say, well, that's kind of how we handle things.
That's the I'm dance. Wondering. They call it the dance.
I don't know. You know, but I'm wondering, is he, and then is he thinking, well, you know, Esau, we didn't, we sent him out. We didn't, we left. Maybe he's not coming after me. And it's not like Jacob was like a nobody. So he's like, he doesn't know. There's the big thing that Joseph doesn't know. Joseph doesn't know that his dad thinks he's dead. He's thinking, my family abandoned me. My brothers threw me in a pit. They tried to kill me and they've abandoned me. So now we have a new father figure who steps up. We have there's a redemptive story. We have this new father steps up and says, instead of, what kind of gift is that? Or you think I'm going to bow down to you? Keep your dreams to yourself. We have a new father, very powerful father who says, bring your dreams to me. I want to hear what you have to say.
And he says it a little softer, doesn't he? And it also isn't his relative. So it's not like he's saying it to his father when he's saying it to Pharaoh.
And he chooses him. So that's a big thing for us women. We want to be chosen. We love, I mean, hello, the whole television program, The Chosen, and they have a big, you know, movies out right now on the show. Well, here's the thing. We love to be picked. And it's a thing when we're not, you know, it starts when, you know, the put me in coach, like we want to be picked off the bench to go play our, you know, we want to be the one who's picked. We see him, he says, my, you know, the word they use is magicians. A better translation, I believe, for that is we think of these guys showing up with like their wizard hats, but it was more like someone who studied dream interpretations, and they understand the interpretations of things, and they would have understand the writings of what historically this could mean. And so these are wise men. These are learned men that he's called on everybody he can, and he picks Joseph. And he's like, nobody else could do it, but you could do it. Do you, sister? There's nobody else can do what you can do. No one else can do what you can do. And you know, we say this all the time, is that I need you to operate in your gift. Because if you're not operating your gift, I'm missing out. The body is suffering because I can't do what you can do. Right. You know, we tease and say, stay in your lane. What did Sandy this morning said, sometimes you have to merge and put on your blinker. Yes. And I would tell you guys, there is no traffic if you stay in your own lane. Right. There's no traffic. So whatever, just get up and do it, girl.
Well, it'll come easily. I remember a very wise woman that I saw as a mentor. And when we were doing certain things, she said, if it is so difficult and you're complaining when you're doing it, that's probably not your gift. That's not your gift if it's such a struggle for you. So learn, but you know, we have other, just like we have these men and women in the scriptures, we have one another to glean from. And we're like those pillars that are holding one another up, saying to you, don't listen if you've got this negative situation or somebody putting you down at work or in your household. Believe what God says about you. And I know that's not easy, but you have to believe it. And your life will turn around with that gratitude. It will turn around.
And you know what? What if it doesn't? You know what happens? The situation, I promise you, probably won't change, at least not quickly. Right. But what will change? What will change is your atmosphere changes. Your perception of how things look, because you have this gratitude of all of it. Your family may still be a hot mess. Right. But you have a gratitude. And I feel like I remember seeing, I worked at a facility where I found paid work for disabled adults. And you had some of the disabled adults that were disabled to an extreme that they were so happy and they didn't know, and it was so beautiful to watch them. And they didn't know that they weren't like everyone else. Right. And I thought, if I were ever going to be I want to be like her, because I want to be the girl on the corner, so happy. That's how I want to be in my situations. I just want to be oblivious. Like, is that Pollyanna? Maybe, but you know what? I'd rather that be my life than running around griping. And then what happens, I believe with all that I am, that activates the hand of God.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's that emunah. It's that saying, I trust you, Father. Thank you for this. This is crazy, but thank you that you think you trusted me to be the woman for the job here. You trusted me to live in this pit. You trusted me to be falsely accused of something. Thank you, because you thought I could handle it. And though, again, number 2, my second pet peeve, it does not say in the Bible that he doesn't give you any more than you can handle. It says any more temptation than you can handle, not any more trouble than you can handle. You're going to have some trouble that you're going to feel like you can't handle and sometimes can't. People were boiled in oil. That was pretty big.
Yes.
That's a big.
Wow. Yeah. Or killed, like in the Hanukkah story, because they wouldn't eat pork. Yeah.
Welcome to the portion where we love to give you joy.
Yes.
You know what? If we change, it's really a simple thing. And I know someone I was sharing, Linda Millett is on here right now. She has such a beautiful testimony of her switching her life to this life of gratitude. And I have been blessed to see the tail end of part of that, like when she was making this transition and started just seeing her life from this beautiful place of gratitude. When I'm just going to tell you, many of us have these stories. There was no gratitude in it. You gave your beautiful testimony. I know at the conference, there's times in our lives, there's no beauty for this. We're like, we can try to be saying, oh, he's going to give me beauty for ashes while you're bawling. And you're saying, I can still feel the hot coals. It's not just ashes, it's on fire. But what I've seen like with Linda is I've watched her life just become this beautiful aroma. Don't you want to be that? Where you walk into the room and they're like, how is she doing this? Right? I mean, Linda has a beautiful testimony of her spouse, her children going, you wanting your family, they're not following, you're trying to do this new walk and you're trying to really bring into the things of the word and really walk that in your home. And you're like, in the bathroom, all like, nobody's doing it but me. I'm the only one. I don't really want to be here. You're just so depressed. What if you just get up and you're happy? What if you just choose it?
Right.
Because we do get to do that. It's an emotional. And I believe Joseph chose, you know what? I'm going to believe the story because I believe that we maybe aren't told some visions he might have had of his own. Like maybe when we saw, he's like, I know I had this vision that people will bow to me. So I know there's something greater. I don't know about you, but I've had things that I know this isn't over yet because somewhere in my gut, I know it's going to get better because I know there's an end that doesn't match this story. So I have to trust the story. And sometimes are you a reader? I mean, how many stories have you read where it was just happy the whole way through?
Right. None.
There's a tragedy.
But you can rewrite your story.
Yes. And I think that's what happened for Joseph.
Yes, I think so also. Yeah. How beautiful is that? But there's a song we used to do in a dance, How Long, O Lord, Will You Forget Me? And we think, but he never, ever is forgetting us. But we have that emotion. And sometimes during that time, we can do very crazy things. And we heard that. We heard that at the women's conference too, that we ran by our emotions thinking this is the end. I can't do this. And that's why we need one another. And even if we've done some things that have been really crazy, there's another chance. There's another chance. And I think one of the worst things that we suffer as women is shame and blame. Shame and blame. And we carry that sometimes. And we are embarrassed of our situation. And we have to know that he is with us. And when it says, how long, O Lord? And really, he is aware. What is the God of Israel? Neither slumbers nor sleeps.
Yeah.
So we just need that encouragement. We need that shot, like you said, of adrenaline, of emunah and hope. If women have just that little bit tikva, the hope, ha-tikva, for the anthem from Israel. If we have just a little hope, we will do wonders, don't we? Amazing. Just a little encouragement.
Bit. Yeah.
And, our husband will say, wow, you're really, what we were joking last night, my husband said, oh, you little chalupa or something, but just a little encouragement sets us, wow, it can make our whole day. Because sometimes we have these, what would we say? We have expectations, don't we?
Oh,
and
huge.
Expectations can be a killer.
If your expectations are high, your serenity is low. So it's okay to set an intention for the day, but the intention needs to be no matter what. I know who's in control. No matter what, I know the end of I trust the story, no matter what. I know what he says about me. When I go into this room, I'm going to be intimidated. When I go into rooms with women who they've forgotten more than I know. And the temptation to be intimidated is great. And I have to remember, I took this assignment. They took that assignment. I'm going to walk here because I have something to give. Father, show me how I can bless this room. Show me how I can bless this person.
And the confidence is with him, not in me. Our own. No.
And that's what Joseph says. He goes, right. It's not me, it's him.
Right.
He's the
and
one.
Didn't he also though, he wasn't a doormat.
No.
He went also and he tested those brothers.
Oh, here we go. Right.
Yeah. This is getting really good. Right.
I had my notes. I said that sometimes even, Jacob had to learn empathy before he was able to reconcile with Esau. He had to learn empathy. He had to go through that place where he had to fight and struggle. He had been deceived, or he had maybe just not paid attention because he was so caught up in, the emotion of it all. Either way, he had to learn the empathy before the reconciliation could happen. I kind of think that's what's happening with Joseph with the brothers. He could have easily just been, he had the power to whatever. But I believe part of it could have been, his flesh being like, all right, let's work but God worked it for their good, because they had to learn a little bit of empathy of what it felt like to be threatened unto death.
Yes. And what did Reuben say? Didn't I tell you?
Didn't I tell you?
Yes.
And this isn't the Egypt of the Passover we're talking about right now. Right. This is just like, we're going into LA because we're going to go into LA because there's food there. It's not, they enslave us and make us build things with no straw. That's not the Egypt that's happening right now. That happens years later once they've forgotten Joseph, they've forgotten the people. This is a very come on in, except where they don't eat with them. We do see that Joseph eats separately. Yes, there is there's a difference.
They couldn't eat together.
They couldn't eat together. We do see there is a little bit of a Semitism, anti-Semitism happening.
Yes.
It's happening. But I believe that the brothers have to go through this so they can learn empathy.
Yes.
There has to be a little bit of a humbling. And what if we can thank him because there's something he's trying to work out in you? Are you feeling tested by someone that they're pushing you and they're making you feel humbled and low? There's a difference that humility is. You should be. I was reading something in the Musar that when you're humble, humbleness is not, humility is not self-deprecating where you're coming in and you're a victim and you're downcast. Pure godly humility brings joy to a room because others are before you. You know that it's Yeshua, it's your sovereign God first, and then it's others, and then it's me, because I know if I take care of those things, I'm going to be just fine.
Right.
I'm going to be just fine.
Yes. And I think that's an excellent point that they had to experience in their soul. And I think we were talking about, I think also last night, the four of us also about, the circumcised and the uncircumcised. It doesn't matter if you're not circumcised of the heart. And this is what happened to me when I thought sin was only this great big thing. I saw all of a sudden I had a conscience. Oh, Miriam, when you said this to somebody, or you did this and it was a little thing, but boy, it pricked my heart. And I thought, wow. So it says, and as we begin our Shabbat tonight, where our table is not only blessed with the Shabbat candles that we bring that light women, we're also bringing the light of the Hanukkah this night, aren't we? Yeah. Shabbat, Hanukkah. And at the very beginning, when you were talking about the ladies and all their languages, when I was blessed to go to Israel, right before Shabbat, there was a big table on this baby grand piano. And it was all these tea lights and women from France, from different parts, from Japan. They were doing the blessing to light the candles. And oh, wow, it just spoke to me. It was so incredible.
In all the languages.
Yes. It was just like, wow, God, you are so incredible. And how at the right time, the exact right time, he chose you. He chose you. And I know there's a saying with the Jewish people, we're supposed to be the chosen. Why don't you kind of choose somebody else for a while? You know, that's a joke. But really, he's chosen you. Isn't that incredible? And so, and all the ladies that I have recently met, I felt like when we went to this conference and I had just seen them, like on this portion or in the Ruta Cafe or when we've interviewed, I felt like I knew them already. We were instantly sisters. Instantly. And we encourage you, and please pray. And if you know, I am working diligently and praying and asking the Holy One to give us some type of an application to be able to, because I don't want it, the Facebook one isn't working the way we need it to, and it needs to be outside of Facebook, where you can put, you know, I'm in the portion, this is where I live, this is my city, and you can find ways to connect with one another, because it's so great, because instantly you know each other. I remember I was in Mary Kay for years and years, and we used to say we were the Mary Kay Mafia. And it was funny because you could say, no matter where I'm at, if I get a flat tire on the side of the road, I know that I could find someone. I could go and just like Google Mary Kay Dallas, and I could say like Mary Kay Oklahoma City, and someone would come get me, and they would put me up for the night, and they would take care of me because we had a common. They knew we were family. I feel that way now. I feel like we're not the mafia. I feel like that's the kind of sisterhood we have. It doesn't matter. We all believe the same thing, or we wear a head covering, or we don't wear a head covering, or we, whatever. We have the same calendars. We see we're all different, but we love the same Messiah, and we all just want what's him, period. And I want you to be able to connect with each other on that. I read something, and I just don't want to forget it, but in Genesis 41, by the way, this Parsha is Genesis 41. We're all over the place. 41, 1 through 44, 17. And then 1 Kings 3, in 15 and 4. You know, I have to just two plugs. I mean, again, is that Gail's doing the help. It's the Haftarah. She started doing the teachings on that. She has her Parsha points from ancient Near East perspective, which are so good, not overwhelming. She's doing the help. It's the Haftarah. We get to learn with her as she's learning. But one of the things here in 41, he says, the other thing I was going to say is, you're talking about the mind work, is that's another thing I've learned so much is what I've learned with Simi, is her teaching me, or sitting at the weekly call or monthly call, is learning about how to using my mind and renewing my mind, so that I realized my hurt kept me in a survival hurt mode. So I was angry, I was frustrated. Any of those negative, the opposites of the fruits of the Spirit, was because I was operating at a place in my brain, usually out of hurt. So I was learning how to heal those things so I could move into the gifts that God's given me. Yes, amen to that, because I learned so much from Simi, and and we saw, because we are emotional beings. So thank you, Simonette. You have blessed us and blessed all of us with generations. Yes, it's changed our lives. Yeah. And if you change one woman's life, you've changed generations. Right. We're so powerful. Genesis 41, verse 32. I underline this for myself, because he says it now. As for repeating Pharaoh's dream twice, it's because the matter has been settled by God, and God will quickly make it happen. I just put that in. I just wanted to. This is a random thing to throw out for you guys, but have you recently, tune your ears in? What is he saying twice to you? What are you hearing twice? What are the things around you? Start journaling. These are things, because he's saying that it's being repeated twice. This dream is repeat. Are you having a dream more than once? Then it's something that he's trying to tell you, that he's settled a matter in heaven, and he's wanting you to, he loves you. He wants you to be aware of it. And don't close your ears to it. No, we have women in here who can help you even with dream interpretations. We do have some Joseph anointing in here. These women who can help you with processing what this looks like. And I mean, beautiful. I have several women I know, Keisha, Bonnie Manning. There's ladies that I will call right away and be like, here's my dream. Tell me what you think. Simi, the same thing. Have some women. You got to have your girls, your posse, have a dream posse that you can call. Because you know what? We cannot do it alone. We can't. And when we have we help one another. Someone might be better, like on IT and then, you know, doing things on the internet and say, gosh, that's not my gift. And then there's somebody that's going to be right there to help you, you know, or in like you said, the Haftorah or the Hebrew, or learning, or just learning, how do I set my table? And I think one of the things I want to not forget this before we go. And as you are celebrating your holy days in Hanukkah or the Shabbat, one of the first things people usually say, I don't want to do it wrong. Or what am I doing wrong? I want to do it exactly right. And I want you to not have that, because it doesn't, there's not a set formula. Make it your own. Make it your own. As long as you're incorporating and you're putting on that table and centering around the Messiah. And this portion is so great because we're also going in the blessing that we go also to what? Manasseh and Ephraim, and what those words mean. And if we have a boy, we bless him that he would be and have that double portion. What did, you know?
Sister, oh my gosh, you know what? How many times have you ever questioned it? That's the thing we've been trying to teach you here is ask questions. It's okay.
Right.
You're not defiant if you ask questions like, why do we choose? There's other people we can choose from, and what made them so special. But if we look at what their names mean, what are you speaking over your children? That we're going to forget the hurts, that my sons will be the men that forget hurts,
Manasseh,
and that they will bring blessings.
Yes. How wonderful.
That's what you're telling your boys. That's what you're telling your nephews. Whatever you pray, if you don't have boys, then pray it over nephews. Pray it over your friends' boys.
Yes.
Pray it over our kids.
Right. And then for the girl, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rivka, may they be like these matriarchs. What with their attributes?
Yeah. Go through each one of their attributes. What are you speaking over your children? Don't just blindly say, okay, you did it in one religion. Maybe you memorized things and memorized prayers, and you just did it because you were told. We want to encourage you not to do it because you're told. We want you to know the why. Why am I saying this? I'm not just going to memorize these blessings and just because I want to be part of a new Jew thing. That's not it. What do I want to speak life over my family? All right. So Joseph, they give him a wife.
Yes.
Which is something a father would do, right? A father would go find a wife. A father gives them clothes. We're seeing this now. Everything that was taken away is being restored, including this father. Later, we'll see Jacob even being brought in to say, hey, this is my new adoptive dad. I want my two dads to meet. He brings them in and lets them know. But he brings in this woman. I'm going to just present to you something I want you to research and find out. There's a bright light in my face. I'm trying to look over at Charles because he's my Moshe over there. Moshe is in the chair. Moshe is in the house.
Moshe's in the house.
So I have read some Mishnah on this, that Asenath, this daughter of Potiphar, is actually is the daughter of Potipharah. She was actually brought in by Dinah, and she was actually the daughter with Shechem. What say you, Charles? Have you heard? Oh, he says doing this. He's not going to answer me. He's going to make me figure it out. So this is what I have researched. It doesn't say anywhere in here in scripture, but
she was not a Hebrew.
She was not, but she was raised that way. But it was told that, I always wonder, why did you bring? There was a grafting. We know that that's happening. There were grafting ways. But however, that it was actually the child that was born from the rape. And that she was taken to Egypt and given to Potipharah to raise. And she actually, then that's why they gave her because she's part Hebrew, and that's why they gave him as a wife. That's a Mishnah.
Yes, a Mishnah. Maybe true, maybe not.
Maybe true, maybe not. But isn't that interesting? Wouldn't that be interesting?
That would be very interesting because
it kept the lineage going.
Yes, because that's interesting too. How different situations. Look what happened with the brothers of Dinah. They took revenge. And vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And that is exactly what Joseph did not do. And so
again, that's what is it a reference back to, again, this redemption story? Is the bloodline's redeemed because she's brought back in, even though there was a rape. Again, this may be true or it may be not, but it would be interesting.
And I love this too in 42:22. And Reuben answered them, saying, did I not tell you, do not sin against the boy? And you would not listen. So this is what we were talking about before. What a great verse. Are you listening? Are you listening? Now comes the reckoning of his blood. I told you we shouldn't have done this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what's starting in here in the heart, isn't it? And this is what Joseph is testing them on. Testing them on.
He's sitting back and watching, and sometimes
Yeah.
we're really quick. But we see the a prodigal son. We don't see this happening. That prodigal son doesn't have to answer. Doesn't have to answer the question. Doesn't have to go through this, because that is given us the way that our Father doesn't make us go through a process. He knows our hearts. He knows the process already. But in this case, Joseph is like, why didn't you come get me? He doesn't know that everyone thought that the dad thought he was dead. So now they're like, well, where's my brother? Because he's wondering, did you send him off too? Because if you hated me, you probably hated him. Did you send him away too? What he's trying to get the information, because I'm not going to cast pearls before swine here. I don't know if you've changed, because last time we met, you threw me in a pit. So just for a minute, let me just survey what's happening. I don't know that there was ill intent. I don't know. I feel like we've seen who Joseph is. I don't know if he was, what do you think?
Well, who knows deep down, but I really don't think, I think he was testing them. And I think, doesn't it, there's 2 times that he really weeps, but when he sees his brothers and he sees this, and when they said he's got to bring Benjamin back, Benjamin back, and what they're going to do. But, also he didn't want his brothers, he recognized them, but they did not recognize him. And he used an interpreter because he knew what they were saying in Hebrew, but they didn't know that. So there was an interpreter, and he looked different. He looked different. He had Egyptian clothes on. And we talk about that too. That's many times our Jewish brothers and sisters only see the Greek, the Egyptian clothing of the Messiah. And you do know that you're going to have to see the Messiah of Israel. And that's why even the chosen is trying in some ways to portray Yeshua more in his Jewish surroundings.
Yeah.
And even like we said, I know this is because we're doing this portion, but it is the Shabbat Hanukkah. The people didn't even know that in John 10:22, we went up for the Feast of Dedication. This is not taught in churches. They don't know that is the Feast of Hanukkah. And if Judah Maccabee, if they didn't stand up, it's the same here. If there wasn't any lineage, there'd be no Messiah.
Yeah.
So it's something that you tell your friends, this is the Feast of Dedication. In this temple here, are we dedicating it? But tell them, yes, your Messiah celebrated this.
Right.
He celebrated
and
this.
It's okay if people aren't going, well, now what are you doing? Because before you were, collecting crystals, and before you were doing this, now what are you doing?
Yeah. How long is this going to last?
Yeah. What now? It's okay, because you know what? This is showing you that Judah did some crazy stuff, and he brought redemption. Reuben brought redemption to things. Joseph brings redemption. We can all do things wrong, but then when we stand up for the right thing, people know the difference.
And you don't have to always defend yourself. Your fruit of your spirit, of your life, people are going to look at your fruit. That's what I saw. And so when they see you with the gratitude or with the kindness, what we always have to remember, it's so easy to love somebody that's lovable. How do we love somebody that isn't lovable?
Yeah. And
Messiah said, forgive them. And what did Joseph say? You meant that for evil.
Yeah.
But God meant it for good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's, really, we've seen this. This isn't a new thing. This is since we've been, you'll hear every pastor on the planet is preaching that. This is the theme of this is you meant it for what you meant for evil. This is Romans 8:28. Do you think Romans 8:28? It's commentary. It's Paul's Mishnah to the Romans, trying to teach them this whole concept. We don't know this for sure that this is the exact parsha he's trying to teach them, but pretty close. He's saying what was meant for what's meant for evil is going to be used for good. We see Judah in 43 saying, you know what, I myself will be his pledge. Where he was willing to take a life, now he's willing to be ransomed. He was willing to say, I'll be the one.
He's passing the test.
I myself will be his pledge. We see now we see Messiah coming through him saying, he said, I'll be your pledge. I'll be your pledge. And then I had little notes, I give you guys some notes, some things I want you to go in and just check out. We have a few minutes left. Some things I want you to check out. Check out the gifts that were sent, because I want you to look, there's fruit, but there's a lot of healing things that happen. He sends not the best products, but he sends balsam, some honey, gum, myrrh. These are things that are used right now. I mean, if any of you are oilers, you know, one of the things you do is you grab out your oils and you're going to give something. I mean, my husband and I are doing a concoction right now that has like turmeric and honey and ginger and things.
So good, Randy.
And
Thank you. I love it. I love it.
We're jumping into but he sent things that brought healing. That represent healing. And and not known, but saying, here, these are the gifts of the land. But for me, what I saw was this like healing concoction, like he's putting together this healing. And I don't think that's it, but that's what I saw was, what if we sent to the people that we're afraid are going to hurt us? What if we send out things to them that are healing? And then he comes around, and his last thing he says before verse in 14, he says, as for me, if I am bereaved, I am bereaved. And immediately I thought of Esther. If I die, if I perish, I perish. Because finally you have to get to the end of the rope where you have to trust. You have to trust the story. We have to trust that if I perish, I perish. If they laugh at me, they laugh at me. If I fail again, I fail again. I'm doing it with my heart and everything I have for him to bring joy, to bring faith, to bring love to my home, to bring healing to my home, to my relationships, to bring redemption. I want to bring redemption to every situation so that I am the hands of the feet of Yeshua, so I can do that. And if I perish, I perish. Can you get there? Can we get there during the season in this rededication? The Maccabees. If I die, I die. We can't let this happen anymore. We no longer can let this desecration happen. We cannot let our holy places be defiled. We cannot let the mingling happening in religion, in our churches, in our families. And it doesn't mean that you have to jump up and you're a terrorist in your home. You get to do it through love. You get to put on the armor, right? You know what your armor is. Your armor isn't you running in with a sword. And now if someone's like running into your church and killing a pig on the altar, now that might be sword worthy. Okay. You can call my husband and he'll come take care of that. But I'm telling you, there's the things that are happening in your home are probably not Maccabee sword worthy. But they are worth of you standing up in love. And just saying, oh, but this will be so much more fun. Let's do this. Ladies, you know how to do it. You know, you have a gift. You know how to set the stage. You know how to bring in the presence. Do it again. You know how to do it. Do it again.
How beautiful. It's like that oil has been poured on us of the softness, not the hardening. Release that hardening and of the hurts, because the hurts causes the bitterness. And we can see through it all in the story, there does not seem to be the bitterness in Yosef. And it does. And you say, Lord, please help me, because you all know when you go to the Shabbat table, you cannot look into each other's eyes if there's anger. So let it all go, let it go, and come to the table in love and put it outside. It will make changes, like you've said, they're incredible. Incredible changes. Even if your family, you just sit down by yourself and they're like, you are crazy. And you're just sitting there and you just put dinner out and you put the plates out and you make it beautiful and fun. And you're like, come on, guys, we're eating. You do little blessings and you don't have to be like, you don't have to be that person yet. You can just say, I want to bless, we're going to usher in the presence of God. I want to bless my family, Father. And as you bless them, something powerful happens. As you begin to say those blessings over them, something powerful, something changes. We watch it happen every week. With new people coming around a table. Things start shifting. Crying. And they don't know why. Things start shifting and breaking. You just have to step out in faith and do it. If they laugh, they laugh. If they don't show up, they don't show up. They will. You're promised, you and your house, you'll be saved. They'll show up. And they're going to watch you and they're going to like, well, I don't know what she's doing or what. How many of you know, like you see your girlfriend and she's lost like 50 pounds and you're like, what, girl, what are you taking? What diet are you on? I need to be on this diet. That's the kind of influence we have. That's what you get to be with your family, because you have a gift and they watch, look at her. She's happy. She's not griping anymore. She's fun. She's joyful.
Oh my goodness. She's confident. Maybe your story is always about how everyone hurt you and how you were divorced and now this happened and your story is constantly that. Now your story is, I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm not going to look at what I can't do, but what I can do. Your story starts becoming like Joseph.
Revival
happens.
Revival in here. Woohoo. Yeah. Woohoo.
Yeah. Revival. Ladies.
Put on your Assembly of God. And
I know. Get it. Ladies.
Let's run around the table.
I know. We're going to run around the table. This has been so much fun. We're going to we have a full day today. We have ladies coming in literally from all over the country, kind of flying in.
Yeah.
We again want to extend the invitation if you're at Better Me tomorrow at 3 in Oklahoma City.
Right. Come a little early. Bring your oil of gladness. Bring your Hanukkah if you have, and your candles. And if you can, finger food. If you're far away, don't worry. We will take care of you.
Yeah.
We will take care of you. And of course, we're going to have the anointing that you can be rededicated. And Charlie's going to be.
It's going to be live. Are we live?
It's live YouTube. Stream. You can go on YouTube, Better Me, and hopefully they'll share a link that they can do. And we are in the midst of being blessed with a new camera and a new computer. So give us just a little bit of time. In the next couple of weeks, we should have it being perfect. But right now, we're if it's not quite as clear, just know that it is happening, and God is really working. He is working. And so we just want to wish you, how incredible that I get to share this with my spiritual daughter. Woohoo! Yes. Woohoo!
I haven't had a mom since I was 29. My mom left, and look what God blessed me with. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Thank you. I love you.
I love you.
We pray that you're blessed. We pray that you invite someone around your table, someone that you can love on tonight. We pray that you don't get stressed out preparing, that you just let the preparation be of your heart, and then let that be an extension in your home.
Yes.
We pray that light just like blossoms inside of you as and if you don't have a Hanukkah, you can get like little votive candles in a row, tea lights in a row. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just you get to start right where you are and just know that he loves you. He loves you. And trust this story. Trust your story. Trust and begin to, I challenge you to start thanking him for the crazy stuff. Thank him for the hurt. Thank him for the pit. Thank him for the pit where you were, the heat, that where things are being birthed out of you. Thank you for that. Thank him for those things. And just watch as your attitude starts changing. And I can't wait to hear your testimonies. Please share them with us.
Yes, please. It brings us, it gives up great excitement.
It lifts our faith. It lifts our faith on those days when we see that and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm in the right zone. I'm in the right place. It's like, it's that when Pharaoh told him, ooh, okay, I take this. He recognized his gift. It's not for pride, but it's nice to know that you heard from the Father, and we want to encourage you in your gift as well. We know that he is the giver of all things. It's not a pride thing. But may you be blessed. May your families be blessed.
Yes.
May your sons and your nephews and your grandsons, may they all forgive the things that have hurt, that there's no shame. Your children don't suffer shame, but they forgive those things. And then because of that, there's this beautiful blessing that happens over your family, that it's reconciled during this season like never before, that you feel his presence.
Yes.
Do you want to close us in prayer?
Yes. So Lord God, King of the universe, we just come to you today and we pronounce blessings upon these beautiful ladies. They are the ones, Almighty King, that carry this to their household, that their tables become an altar. So give them hope, give them confidence, give them the ability to feel that they are been chosen by you. May they be filled with the oil of gladness. May they not be feeling rushed or stressed. And we just ask your blessings. We ask for Brenda in her household, that she will be healed.
Yes,
and we thank you for each and one of these women and their gifts, and what a gift they are. So our Hanukkah blessing is that we don't need the materialistic gifts. You are our gifts.
Yes.
And thank you for that. It is more precious than gold.
Yes.
So we bless you. We ask for your complete healing wherever you are. Look at these stories. Say, where am I? What can I do Choose me. Hineni, here I am. So may you be blessed in the name of Yeshua, God's salvation. Amen.
Amen. Be blessed, ladies. We will see you next week. I will have a few minutes over in the after party just to say a couple words, and then we are all going for prep day, getting ready for the exciting thing. So everyone be blessed.